They stole my name, my money, and called it love. I was the oldest daughter, which meant tech support, accountant, emotional landfill. But the moment I walked out, everything fell apart, and that was just the beginning. They didn't forget my birthday. They ignored it. And then they invoiced me. I'm Maxine, 24, oldest daughter, which in my family means human credit card, emotional sponge, and tech support rolled into one. It was a Tuesday. I worked open to close at the print shop. No cake. No card. Just a notification from my bank that 3 accounts had been modified by primary holder. Primary holder? That would be my stepmother. Because years ago, for simplicity, she insisted we link all our utility bills through my name, with her as admin, just in case. What she didn't say was, in case they decide to reroute their entire financial mess through me. I get home, dusty, tired, wearing the same shirt I spilled toner on, and my little half-sister Nora's riding a new electric scooter down the driveway. She sees me, waves, and yells, "Thanks, Max." I'm like, for what? She grins. For the scooter. Mom said you helped. I go inside. My dad's at the table with a beer in one hand and a calculator in the other, pretending to understand numbers he's never managed in his life. My stepmom is plating food, not for me, and humming like she just paid off a mortgage. Then she drops it, all casual. We went ahead and upgraded Nora's room. New bed, new desk, scooter, all bundled under your name. You'll handle the installments, right? She says it like she's offering me a slice of pie. Like it's a gift I should be thankful for. I don't answer. Because if I do, I'll scream. Instead, I open my email. There's a confirmation of a store credit account I never authorized, a digital receipt for a $2,300 furniture set, and a welcome to flexible pay message with my full legal name attached. I walk into the kitchen and ask, did you just open a loan in my name without asking? Dad doesn't even look up. Just mutters, you live here for free. About time you pitched in. Pitched in? I've paid the internet bill for 2 years. I fixed the boiler last winter when they didn't even notice it broke. I balanced their taxes. I set up their online grocery because they don't trust apps. I take Nora to school when their alarms don't go off. And now I owe $2,300 for a scooter and a pink canopy bed? I say this is fraud. Stepmom scoffs, this is family. That was the moment I snapped. I didn't cry. Didn't argue. Didn't throw anything. I just turned around, went to my room, and started packing. Not just my clothes. My access. The bank logins. The password manager. The app one built for Dad's little side hustle flipping resale items. The spreadsheet with every contact and delivery route. The budgeting sheet I made when we were broke last March and he couldn't understand his own statements. They say if you're not valued, walk away. But I say, if they used you like a system, let them crash. Nora's scooter was parked at the top of the stairs. I stepped over it like a broken promise. Before I left, I dropped one thing in the hallway closet. Not loud. Not illegal. Just undeniable. And by morning, they'd be begging the neighbors for help. The first crack came in the form of a phone call. Blocked number. I didn't answer. The second was a group message titled Urgent, Wi-Fi? Apparently, the router had reset. No one could remember the password. The password was Nora's birthday in reverse. Because no one but me remembered it. I was 2 blocks from Ronan's house, sipping gas station coffee and watching the sunlight hit the zipper of my duffel like a little knife, when the third thing happened. A notification. Autopay failed, utility billing center. They canceled the shared payment card. My name was still on it. But they thought removing me meant freedom. What they actually removed was the one person who kept the lights on. That night, I opened my old budgeting doc, the one I built for Dad when he couldn't track income from 3 side hustles. It had tabs for gas payments, marketplace item flips, client pickups, his friends and family, pricing model which always lost money. I removed my access. Deleted my email from the shared drive, logged out of the logistics app and let the deliveries default to manual. And suddenly, his empire of used lawnmowers and retro speakers was blind. Around 11 p.m., Nora tried to FaceTime me. The girl who said thank you for a scooter I didn't buy. I declined. 10 minutes later, I got a text from my stepmom. We need to talk. This is immature. Immature? You steal someone's credit, destroy their birthday, and then beg for tech support? Nah. At midnight, I checked the burner email I'd set up for the family Amazon account. They tried logging in 5 times. Failed each time. Guess who handled their subscriptions, orders, deliveries, and refunds? I didn't reply. I just sat on Ronan's floor eating dry cereal with my hands staring at the ceiling. And for the first time in months I felt still. Not happy. Not sad. Just still. You ever walk away and realize they weren't holding you up, you were holding them? The budgeting spreadsheet was color-coded. When I deleted my tab, all the boxes turned gray. Like a system going cold. The next morning, I woke up to 27 unread messages. And one photo. A blurry image of my dad outside the house. Barefoot. Screaming into his phone. Captioned, "Is this your circus?" Ronan's couch is stiff. The kind that makes you wake up with half your spine missing. But that morning I felt lighter than I had in years. Like my bones finally belonged to me. I turned my phone on and instantly regretted it. 41 new messages. 6 voicemails. 3 missed calls from my stepmom. And 1 long-winded text from my dad that ended with, "You humiliated this family. Fix it. Or stay gone." The word family did most of the damage. Not because it hurt, but because it had finally stopped meaning anything. A few hours later, there was a knock at Ronan's door. It was Jason, my half-brother. Hair messy, but he half-sipped. Eyes full of something I'd never seen from him before. Fear. He stepped inside like the air was too heavy to breathe. "Can I sit?" he asked. I nodded. He didn't speak for a while. Just picked at a tear in the couch cushion. Then, "Dad's losing it." The power company called. He didn't know what to say. He thought they were scamming him. I waited. He screamed at Mom. Said she should have kept you in check. Then he smashed his phone against the wall when the grocery delivery didn't show up. I asked, "Why are you here?" He shrugged. "I don't know. I guess you were always the one who fixed things." Wrong answer. I stood up and crossed my arms. And now I'm supposed to come back and what? Sweep up the ashes? Pretend nothing happened? Jason didn't argue. He just nodded. "I didn't agree to be their firewall," I said. "And I'm not your parachute." He looked ashamed, which was new. "Dad says you're overreacting." Of course he did. I pulled out my phone. Opened the photo gallery. Showed him every receipt. Every login. Every auto payment I'd run for 3 years. I showed him how the new furniture was in my name. How I'd been paying for his textbooks without ever being asked. How I'd built the spreadsheet that kept Dad's resale side gig from collapsing like a house of expired routers. Jason went pale. "I didn't know," he said. I smiled, not kindly. "I know you didn't. That was the problem." He left quietly. Didn't even finish the water Ronan handed him. I watched him walk down the street, the same street I used to drive him down, back when he had a cold and Dad was too tired to deal with errands. I closed the door. Locked it. Sat down. And decided. They wanted a ghost? I'd become the one that haunted them. You ever realize your absence hurts more than your presence ever did? Jason left his hoodie on the chair. He didn't come back for it. That night, I uploaded a folder to the cloud. Titled, "In Case They Lie." And I sent it to someone who knew how to use it. Freedom is quieter than I thought. No more stomping in the hallway. No more slamming doors. No more text chains about who left the backlight on. Just quiet. And in that quiet, guilt tries to crawl in like smoke under a locked door. Not my guilt. Theirs. Packaged and delivered as concern. On Thursday, I posted a photo of Ronan's cat sitting in my suitcase. No context. No caption. By noon, I had 6 DMs. "Your dad's worried sick. Family means forgiveness. What are you trying to prove?" I didn't reply. Instead, I ordered myself a burger and ate it slowly without someone yelling about sodium or how we have food at home. I thought leaving would feel final. It didn't. It felt like switching off a machine and realizing your ears still ring from the hum. But the strange thing? I wasn't lonely. I was angry. Still. Like my bones were made of wires they used for years, and now that I pulled the plug, sparks were still jumping. On Friday, I went to the public library and printed out copies of every shared bill I paid in the last 12 months. Electric, gas, internet. 3 separate credit charges under my name, 4 emergency household items. All signed. All traceable. I made a folder. Labeled it, red tape. Not because I wanted to sue them, but because I wanted to be ready. Because I knew sooner or later someone would try to rewrite history. Ronan caught me at the printer, arms full of paper. He raised an eyebrow. I said, "Just tying up loose ends." He didn't ask. That night, he taught me how to scramble eggs with butter instead of milk. I didn't know they could taste like that. I'd always used water. Because that's what we had. You ever eat something simple and realize you've been doing it wrong your whole life? That's what freedom felt like. Not loud. Not glorious. Just warm. You ever live so long on crumbs that when you taste real food, you flinch? The folder I printed had 1 red sticker on it. Like a scar I gave shape. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail from my aunt. 8 seconds long. All she said was, "We found what you left." They didn't knock. They stormed. Aunt Lillian's voice pierced through the stairwell before I even got to the door. "You think you're clever? You think this makes you strong?" I opened it anyway. Calm. She stood there, winded, clutching a crumpled manila folder, the one I'd left behind. Her hair was frizzed, her lipstick cracked at the corners. Behind her, my dad. Silent. red-faced, breathing through his nose like a charging bull holding formation. Ronan stepped behind me, said nothing, just stood like a wall. I looked at my aunt. You found it. She held up the folder like it was a live grenade. Receipts? Emails? What were you trying to do, Maxine? Humiliate your own father. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me. Then I looked her square in the face and asked, which part was a lie? She didn't answer, so I turned to my father. Was it a lie that you opened 3 accounts in my name without asking? That I covered the bills while you called me lazy? That I filed your taxes while you told people I was mooching off you? Still nothing. Only his jaw twitching. I didn't fabricate a single thing, I said. But you? You sold my labor like it was free. You exploited your own daughter. He stepped forward. Tried the old tactic, the lowered voice, wounded tone. We're family, Max. We do what we need to for each other. I almost laughed. You needed a daughter, not a financial service. Aunt Lillian tried again. You're tearing this family apart. No, I said. I'm just not holding it together anymore. They stared, as if I'd slapped them, as if reality itself was disrespectful. And then finally my dad exploded. You ungrateful little snake, he spat. All those years under my roof and this is how you repay me? My voice stayed level. You didn't offer shelter. You offered a deal. When I never agreed to. He pointed at Ronan's house. Living with a boy? That's your big rebellion? You'll come crawling back. Ronan opened the door. Dropped one sentence. She won't have to. I looked back one last time. Dad's face had collapsed in on itself. Like a man who'd lost a tool he didn't know he needed until it vanished. The folder was still in her hand when she walked away. But her grip had loosened. She was holding it like something infected. That night, someone spray-painted our old mailbox. 3 words in red. She told them. By noon the next day, it wasn't just a family matter anymore. Screenshots of my dad's tantrums had leaked into the neighborhood group chat. The one for dog walkers, bake sales, and passive-aggressive lawn complaints. Now it had a new post. Anyone else get harassed for help with someone else's water bill? For comments in, someone tagged me. I didn't reply. Because across the street, I could already hear him. My dad. In the front yard. Pacing in socks, phone in hand, yelling at someone about ingratitude and ruined reputations. The kicker? He was holding a welcome back college sign he'd made for Jason, trying to stage a photo op. Trying to fix the story. Because if there's one thing narcissists can't stand, it's a plot they don't control. That evening, I got a call from Grandma. She never calls. She has a flip phone and hands it to whoever's closest when it rings. But now her voice was raspy and full of guilt. She said, I saw what you left. I didn't know they put bills in your name. I didn't say much. Just let the silence do the work. I told your father he needs to make this right, she added. I asked, did he listen? A pause. Then. He said you owe him your existence. That was enough. Later that night, my inbox blew up. Cousins. Neighbors. Even Nora's teacher. Everyone had concerns. Everyone had questions. Everyone wanted to know, is it true? Yes. It was all true. I didn't even need to say it. The proof was everywhere. On paper. In screenshots. In unpaid balances that now had his number listed as the emergency contact. The fallout was no longer emotional. It was logistical. He couldn't find where I saved his tax records. Couldn't log into the billing portals. Didn't remember the bank routing numbers I'd memorized for years. And for the first time in my life, his panic wasn't my problem. Jason messaged me at 1 a.m. They keep asking what you're planning next. Are you gonna sue? I typed back. No. I'm gonna live. The welcome back sign ended up in the trash. Torn in half. Jason texted me a photo of it, captioned, he kicked it. At 3 a.m., I got one more message. From an unknown number. Just 3 words. You win. Congratulations. And I knew exactly who sent it. They wanted me to crawl back. Instead, I filed a change of address. Took the SIM card out of my phone. And opened a new bank account with my actual name on it. No co-signers, no. Just for now, clauses, no, we'll handle it for you. The first payment I made? An $89 floral delivery. Not for them. For the neighbor across the street who told me, quietly, kindly, you deserve peace. The card said, thanks for reminding me that not all adults are monsters. The second payment? $14 for a padlock. Which I installed on a storage unit, the one place I'd kept everything from my childhood I still cared about. A few books, some drawings, and the key to my first bike. I don't know why I kept that key. The bike is long gone. But the key? Still cold. Still mine. At Ronan's, things felt real. He didn't ask me to explain. He didn't turn me into a rescue case or a burden. He handed me fries, changed the Wi-Fi name to not your doormat, and let me sleep on the good side of the couch. On Sunday, Jason showed up again. This time not to beg, not to mediate. He came with a duffel bag and a swollen lip. I didn't ask. He dropped the bag by the door and said, "He hit me. Over the bills." I stood there nodding slowly, then asked the only question that mattered. "You in or out?" He said out. And that was that. We didn't tell anyone where he was. Not even Mom. Especially not Mom. Because silence, the kind I was raised to obey, is how they survive. And breaking it is how we win. The final blow didn't come from me. It came from Grandma. Apparently she got a copy of the file I'd sent to my aunt accidentally. Funny how that happens. She printed every page. Read every line. And when she confronted my dad, the same man she once called her golden boy, she didn't yell. She just said, "You used her like furniture. Now live without her." 3 days later, I heard he tried to cancel the family reunion. Too much drama. What he really meant was, too many people know the truth now. Too many are watching. Too many wonder what else he's done. Ronan and I went out for ice cream that night. He asked, "You good?" I said no. But I smiled. Because good isn't the goal anymore. Free is. The bike key dangles from my rearview mirror now. A reminder, I own the wheels this time. He said I was dead to him. But now he gets to live without me. And that's not punishment. That's balance.